Hello, Mildred. This is me responding to your paper 2, which is about controversies of owning your own business. Cool. In 2012, a gay couple went into a bakery and asked the master baker if he would design them a wedding cake for their upcoming marriage. Because of his strong religious beliefs, he declined to design and create a wedding cake for the couple because he stated that he could not put his artistic vision into something he does not believe in. Much like anyone would be, the couple was upset by the matter. Well, I mean, not everyone would be upset by that. I think some people would just be like, fine, I'll go somewhere else. Okay, the couple was upset and decided to involve the Civil Rights Commission. In the state of Colorado, where the dispute took place, the commission stated that the baker was breaking the Colorado anti-discrimination law that works diligently to fight against discrimination of the blah, blah, blah community, the LGBTQ plus community. The dispute eventually moved to court, and the high court sided with Master Baker Jack Phillips due to the fact that he does have a right to his religious beliefs and his freedom of speech, even when it comes down to something such as sugary baked goods. Okay, so it's nice to open with a story. I feel like that's a really strong technique a lot of the time. However, this does not solve the issue, otherwise known as the controversy that is at hand. This dispute is one example of the controversies that are within the business owning field. Okay. On one side, customers should not be discriminated against based on something such as their sexual orientation, but on the other hand, if it is someone's business and life's work, shouldn't they be able to do what they please with it and therefore sell to whomever they please? So I think I know what you're talking about, but I feel like there might be a better way to distinguish between those two things. Because when you say the business owner, shouldn't they be able to do what they please with it? Well, no. I mean, that's how civil rights legislation has worked. You can't decide you're going to only serve white people, or maybe I'll explain it a little more later. Satisfying both these can be a difficult task, indeed, and therefore why this can be known as controversy within the field of business ownership. You'll untangle that. Okay, first of all, one side might say that the customer should be able to receive service regardless of their sexual orientation. These people, also known as the gay couple who asked for the wedding cake from the religious Colorado baker, should have their rights respected just like anyone and everyone else. The controversy within this case is whether or not this gay couple was discriminated against by the baker. I feel like you already said that. Is it fair to deny someone service based solely on their sexual orientation? You definitely already said that. In simpler terms, the answer is no, but it quickly becomes a bigger issue when you are involving more than just flour and sugar. When one begins to involve the rights of the business owners and what they are entitled to as an American citizen, it can get pretty controversial pretty quick. I feel like you're just repeating yourself through pretty much that whole paragraph. If you don't have enough to say, add another example to discuss, or come up with like a whole new way of looking at the issue. For example, you could compare how this plays out in the United States with how it plays out in England or India or I don't know, somewhere else. As American people, we're given rights to just being able to exercise our freedom in all aspects of our lives. Well, not all aspects of our lives. But just as anyone else, gay people share the same rights and equality that all American citizens are endowed. On the other hand, we must address the rights that the baker, otherwise known as this case's business owner, is entitled to as a business owner himself. The Anti-Discrimination Act says you cannot refuse service based on blah, 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 but you can refuse service if there are safety concerns or unwanted disruptiveness. I'm glad you discussed this. I didn't know about that. It's really interesting. However, as a business owner, you have the right to freedom of speech. This means that you can advertise your business however you see the best fit. You can make the business your own, and if you do not want to stand for something or any kind of social movement, you do not have to just because you own a public business. That's very true. It means you can advertise your business however you see fit. Maybe you'll get into this in a minute, but there are certainly limits on that as well. For example, there are limits to the way you can advertise cigarettes and alcohol. There are limits to the way there used to be. I think there still are limits to how advertisers can advertise toys and sugary snacks to kids. Anyway, as a society, the rights of business owners should be respected and understood. To this degree, is it fair to say Jack Phillips is entirely wrong for not wanting to design a very specific gay marriage wedding cake if he violates his religious beliefs and therefore violates his right to freedom of speech? So, freedom of speech, and I know you're going to talk about this some more, but going to say about that? Freedom of speech, I think, is a difficult thing to discuss because it's not so much deciding like how free we are, so much as it is the idea that the government cannot intervene in our speech except in these very specific cases. So just generally when I'm talking about the idea of free speech, I feel like it can help to be like, to not start with, I can say whatever I want, because you can't say whatever you want. You can't, you can't threaten to kill people. You can't tell people there's a bomb someplace. You can't, write hateful. Anyway, okay. During the time of this dispute, gay marriage was yet to be fully legalized across the country, making it a less widely accepted concept. But through legalization of gay marriage over time, there became, tiny thing. So over time, when you're talking about something happened over time, those should be two separate words. When you put it together like that, it's usually talking about extra hours you work at work over time. The issue of choosing to not bake a wedding cake for the same-sex couple would most likely be more of a controversial case in today's time rather than back when the case took place. The real controversy comes down to this. I feel like you're repeating yourself again. And yes, what I'd love to see here is a little discussion of what do we mean by free speech? Bakery's not the only business that's had controversial disputes, because also, like, a business is not a person. So a business doesn't have a right to free speech, but a person does. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know about that either, but anyway. Okay. Chick-fil-A. Interestingly enough, all the Chick-fil-A locations are closed on Sundays. Some may question why all the Chick-fil-A are closed. Is due to the deep Christian belief. Yes, owners have previously stated they believe Sunday should be designated a day of rest, blah, blah. However, this is not why the company has found itself in controversial water over the years. It's found itself in multiple anti-blah, blah, blah. What you didn't say is why that hasn't been a problem, which would really strengthen your argument. I would discuss that a little bit there. Why is that not a problem? Because of consumers' responses to blah, business owners become more conscious about what issues and topics they are promoting. Wait, what? Oh, right. For example, business placement, otherwise known as location scouting, is a major factor. What do you mean by that? After observation of location. Okay, I see what you're saying. Geographically, like, they can choose to put their business in a place where people are more aligned with their personal beliefs, potentially. Gotcha. Okay, Chick-fil-A's are in Georgia. That's a good point. Important to post in locations that line up with the morality of their customers. As a business owner, one should be able to choose what they put their money into. This includes what one supports, how they pay their employees, where they donate their money, and what charities you choose to support. So again, it looks to me like the main thing that you're missing in this paper is when you say they should be able to choose what to put their money into, how they pay their employees, where they donate their money, what charities they choose to support. I think you need to look at it more like there are lots of things that the government can't intervene in, but you keep mentioning ones that the government does intervene in here and there, like how they pay their employees. The government absolutely intervenes in that, like, a lot. How many hours their employees can work, the fact that they have to pay into Social Security and Medicare, and the fact that they have to pay into unemployment, the fact that they have to pay taxes on the payment that they get, the fact that now there's some laws about people having to be offered health insurance through their work, potentially, I think. I don't know. I'm sure you know more about that. Okay. It's come to light. They put that into those things. However, it's their right and their choice. Similar to how the original dispute ended up siding with the baker. Chick-fil-A. Oh, you didn't do the cute little spelling of Chick-fil-A. You'll fix that. Okay. Company's right to donate money. Yes. And this is another place where you're getting into the Supreme Court decision that had to do with, what is it called? Citizens United. That had to do with the idea that corporations, not businesses, but corporations, which are a particular kind of business, that's another thing you should look into. corporations had a right to free speech. But that's a very new idea. Very new idea. Okay. Though this is an unfavorable outcome, it sheds light on how business must have a right to where to put their money. You've already said this. Clear right or wrong answer. Okay. So, yes, this is how you are going to avoid the repetition. Looks like you have a lot of sources that are super useful. And sources you didn't quote, which surprises me. So you also might find some places where your sources lead you to figure out some other stuff to say. Did you quote anyone? I don't think you have any direct quotes. No, yeah, we need some direct quotes, so we know this isn't just you. Okay, so to sum up, you talk a lot about free speech, but you don't define free speech and explain how Americans generally see it, how you see it. You need to talk about, rather than, sorry, I think what we need is some more examples of how this plays out, because that one example you have is not enough to sustain an entire paper. You're going to have to talk about, like, I don't know, a bunch more. Okay, well, I'm sorry, there weren't just one. There was also... No, I guess there was just the one. Okay, anyway, I would include at least two more, like, completely different cases that would allow you to talk through how this really plays out. And allow you to say something a little bit deeper, because I feel like when you're just stuck with this one, you just kind of end up saying they should be able to do whatever they want because they have free speech. And you don't get to, like, dig in deeper. So, really good topic, and I enjoyed your paper. Thank you.